Hello, adventurers! I'm your host, Nate, and welcome to the 5th week of November, that rare random time when there's 5 weeks in a month instead of the normal 4. I'm here with my co-hosts, Ranger Liz. And Bryan.
Yep.
And we're finishing up our November series of games we are thankful for.
Yay.
So, this week we'll be talking about Harvest Moon and its various different incarnations.
I'll be talking about the Warmachine Hordes tabletop miniatures game.
And I'll be talking about Exalted.
And I'm starting us off. So, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I was a little girl. And I did
really?
not... And I mostly watched my brother play video games. And occasionally I would play video games, but I always felt like I needed the game genie. Or some sort of cheat codes. Or the game needed to be super simplistic in order for me to play it.
Game Genie made the games fun, though.
Yes.
For a while, yeah, but...
For some of them, but, there were some games that I probably didn't need it for, but I felt like I did need it for it. Instead of letting myself face defeat and grow from it. So, my brother had this thing called the Nintendo Power. It was a magazine that, Nintendo produced. It was awesome.
I love Nintendo Power.
Oh, it had those wonderful comics in it, and that's mostly what I did, is I read the comics. And I happened to come across an article for a game that was going to be released called Harvest Moon. And it dealt with farming. And my brain said, seems like a super simplistic game that I should be able to play easily without the game genie. This is the game for me. I want it. And it never came out in our area. And I was sad.
Aww.
Then one day we were taking a trip out to my grandma's house. And we stopped at a game shop. And lo and behold, there was a copy of Harvest Moon. And Mom knew how excited I was, so she bought it for me. And I read that copy, the manual that was inserted. For all you youngins who don't know, they used to put a manual on how to play the game inside of the game box. Instead of putting those stupid tutorial things where they say, push this button to do this all the time.
And we still didn't read those manuals.
No, we didn't. We just figured out how to play it. But I read
20 pages long, too.
Yeah. If I would have read the manuals, I would have learned about the fact you can play Duck Hunt 2-player.
See, my brother sometimes would bring his Super Nintendo, but this year he had not brought a Super Nintendo to Grandma's house. So I was left reading the manual. I read it cover to cover multiple times. The thing was practically about to fall apart by the time I was done reading it, and we were ready to go back home. So as soon as we got back home, it was actually the next day, because we got home late, and I was too tired to play. So the next day, I spent the entire day playing that game. Now here's the thing. Yes, it's farming, but you have to have a strategy. You have to know how to plan your time. And you have to deal with the fact that sometimes your animals are going to get sick, sometimes you might end up losing an animal, or sometimes things are just flat out not going to go your way.
Did you have to defend from wolf attacks?
Fox.
Yeah, foxes will sometimes eat your chickens if you leave them out, or you could just be me and say, screw that, chickens don't need to go outside, and just leave them inside all the time. I didn't even get to name the chickens, so, right?
Yeah, you didn't get to name your chickens, you got to name your cows.
Yes. So, the chickens really didn't matter to me. And when I thought that, I think if I sell them during winter, not all of them, just, sell one and then have an egg ready and continually do this process of once I have a full-born chicken, sell one and put another egg in the incubator. I don't know if it's real. I'm going to have to actually sit down and look at the numbers. But I think you actually get more for your chickens doing that way, selling them to market. But anyway, from there on, I kept getting more and more of the Harvest Moon games, and some of them are kind of easier than the others, especially nowadays when, I kind of wanted it too. I wanted the game to continue going, but I kind of feel as though in the first game, if anyone hasn't played any of the first Harvest Moons, there was a time restriction. you had to rebuild the farm within 3 years, and there were points that you could earn. And I suddenly got the understanding of, with this, that I can figure out how to manage my time. I know how to manage this stuff. I know how to figure things out. And so that made me feel more confident playing other video games. I will say, of the Harvest Moons, I think my favorites are, even though I loved the Super Nintendo game, there were quite a few flaws to it. And the Nintendo 64 version fixed that. But I think More Friends of Mineral Town overall has to be my favorite because I can play as a girl. So I get to marry a guy instead of playing as a guy and marrying a girl. I didn't really have a problem with it before, but it just is kind of nicer. I actually like that guy character and I would like to marry him, but I can't because there's a restriction on that.
Nintendo's incredible progressive policies.
Yes.
So...
Do I get bonus points, or do I get bonus points for cutting down part of my field to build a baseball field?
No.
No, there's not really an option for that, sorry. Besides, you really don't get a big field. You kind of have to plant it all.
Dang.
You start out with, like, a bunch of dirt, rocks.
Some weeds
that needed to be pulled. Grandpa was kind of going downhill, and nobody decided to go visit him and help him with his farm, so they let him die alone. And then they send their grandson out to sell it, and their grandson's like, you know what? I'm going to turn this ranch around and make it productive again.
And that's Harvest Moon. Thanks, Liz.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about the Warmachine Hordes tabletop miniature game. For those of you who don't play it, it's a tabletop miniature war game. Each side, it's mostly 2-player. It really doesn't work for beyond 2-player too well. For 3 or 4 players, so you tend to have short-term alliances form up.
Or a good way to do it is to, if you do 2-player, go in there with 2 people, go in with 2 teams of 2 or 3 players each.
There are other ways to play, but it's mostly one-on-one. Each side picks their army. You have a warcaster or a warlock who's like your general, and if they go down, you lose the game. I love this game. I first started playing it when Nate actually and one of our other friends picked up the original 4 battle boxes. They just bought them one day and pointed to me and said, pick one. So I'm like, undead people. And that's how I started playing Crix.
Also, part of the reason why we eventually dubbed you the Archduke of Evil.
Archduke of Darkness. It was the Archduke of Darkness.
No, we started you off as evil. Then you got promoted to darkness.
And I don't even think I think I promoted myself to Archduke at one point, but still. Aside, but
I think that needs to be brought back, so I'm not the only one with a weird name. Hello, Archduke of Darkness, Bryan. Welcome to the podcast.
Vetoed. So, the reason I like the game, though, it's I love most of the armies. I love the way Crix plays. I played them in Mark 1. So don't cry broken. I started really early with Crix. I didn't pick them because they were broken. But I first got into Hordes after one of the leagues we were playing, in which I saw one of the players who was playing Legion just curb stomp everybody after a go around. So I did choose Legion because they were broken, because they were really powerful. I love the game. I love it. I like the storyline, so I like the fluff in the background of the universe as well, like Nate does with 40K. I like the RPG. For people who've watched this enough, you'd probably realize that I like most things Privateer Press. I like the company Privateer. I think they work for their gamers really, really, really well.
Unlike GW.
So I like the armies. I mostly play Crix and Legion, although it's mostly Legion at this point. I just realized that Adepticon registration opened today, and I didn't register, so I need to make sure I do that ASAP. That's one of the other reasons I really like the Warmachine Hordes, because the tournament scene is really, really good. It does tend to be a highly competitive game with some really competitive players, but I do enjoy that aspect of it. Plus the tournament scene at Adepticon is awesome. The different variations for the game are just fun. I'll probably register for Who's the Boss again, which is a really fun format where you build your army, and then you get a random warcaster from every warcaster the game has. That's a really fun one. It gets some really broken combinations and just a lot of stuff you don't see a lot.
I take it they at least, if you brought a Legion army, they don't give you Coleman Striker.
Yes, you can get a Warcaster. What happens with that is your Warcaster becomes a Warlock for that purpose.
Either that or you just run your beasts off Fury. Like they were Warjacks.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the Warcaster becomes a... if you get a Warcaster for a Hordes army, the Warcaster becomes a Warlock and vice versa. So I'm pretty sure that's how it is, because I played Legion last year and got Fiora as my Warcaster.
Ah, okay.
So it just opens up a lot of fun combinations. It unfortunately does bring about some of the really highly competitors, some of the people who...
She just pours out of their beard?
No, not them necessarily, but there have been a few accusations of cheating recently, including one person at the World Championship who actually got DQ'd because of really sloppy play. So, it does bring out some people who you think might be cheating, but that's really in a narrow set. And the privateer people who run that stuff are usually pretty good.
Okay.
So, I love it for the gameplay, which I really like. I do wish they would publish a few more scenarios that weren't necessarily caster kill is the auto loss, but I know some people that would feel that would invalidate certain strategies, so that's why they don't do it. But I love the new stuff. I love the stuff whenever something new comes out, and can't wait for all the other new toys that other factions are getting.
Yep.
So.
And I wish I had more time to play. I wish I could come down to Hobbytown. Unfortunately, with my school schedule being what it is, I'm just so... And work sometimes is, called me in on Tuesdays, so I haven't been able to go in. So, I look forward to actually getting some time to go in and play once Christmas break starts.
I spent a little bit of my time putting together models today. I actually have to do that. I didn't quite finish because the models I was assembling had a lot of small pieces.
Yes. I personally play Retribution and Legion. Liz has an incredibly small Circle of Ouroboros army.
That you bought for me.
Yep. And by incredibly small, I mean it's the stuff out of that 2-player starter set.
Yeah, I play Legion, I play Crix, I have a little bit of Protectorate army, I have what it would now qualify as a Mark 1 Khador army, because all the stuff in it is from Mark 1. I have a decent Convergence army that I've never assembled, let alone played with, and another decent Circle size army, with my main factions being Crix and Legion. So,
okay.
If I had the money, I would play everything.
Yes, if I had the time, I'd honestly...
And then pay someone to paint it all for me.
Yes. If I had the time, I'd have a beautifully painted Legion army and a beautifully painted Retribution army, and I'd be able to play it every week, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah. My most recent game I played, I lost because I made some really bad mistakes.
Yeah, and I will say this. You are a dangerous opponent because you know your stuff, and you have a very sound tactical mind. Ooh, I've got it, Liz. Iron Lich Bryan. Yes.
Hello, Iron Lich Bryan. Welcome to the podcast. Now we need to come up with a name for him.
How about the Unconquered Nate?
Unfortunately, recently, I killed my boss, so I'm actually now Lich Lord Bryan.
Oh, hello, Lich Lord Bryan. Welcome to the podcast. Tell me time
I
to
love
real welcome you.
I love the Crick's method of promotion. Oh, you killed your boss and fashioned him into a sword or spear? Well, you got his job. Congratulations.
Yes. Alright, and with that, we will take our break. And when we come back, we will talk about Exalted. And we're back!
Hi.
And we are going to be talking about now Exalted. Why am I thankful for Exalted? Well, I'm thankful for Exalted because of the people I've been able to meet through it. There's a large community of Exalted fans. It's actually White Wolf's most popular property over even the World of Darkness, which for the longest time was their only property.
Are you sure that's true?
Yeah, more people actually like Exalted over Vampire, Werewolf, or any of the others.
Alrighty.
And when Exalted first came out, it was billed actually as the prehistory of the World of Darkness, but has since moved away from that. We're really hoping the 3rd edition makes it an even further move, because honestly, for example, the Abyssals kind of got slapped in the genitals in 2nd edition. They were actually worse off than they were in 1st edition.
Are we playing Abyssals right now?
Yes. Honestly, I haven't hit you guys with as much of the slap that they got.
Okay.
Because none of you guys have had to deal with Resonance, because you've been nice little murderous sociopaths. You've been doing your job as engines of destruction, so, you know...
Well, I have.
You have.
I've single-handedly taken out bosses
Yep.
in 2 of the last 3 combats.
And you've been inflicting fear and terror. You haven't been hanging out with the living and social... you guys did, though, pick up a living follower.
Yeah, because she ran into our house and one of the characters went, "Oh, can we keep it?"
It's
Yes.
cute. I'm not there.
Yeah, you're not there.
You
We
keep
we
trying-
we
you
were
keep
looking
trying to
for
bring me.
we were looking for cultists in a city, and when we defeated you were there the night we defeated the cultists briefly, but after that we killed the girl's parents, so she decided to live with us.
That was the night I stopped by to announce the fact that I got to the 4th night in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes,
Yep.
it was. Yeah, so we killed this girl's parents who were going to sacrifice on an altar, so she decided to hang out with us. And one of the other players said, "Can we keep it? Can we keep her?" And both me and Mike were like, "No." I just wasn't really in the mood, me-wise, to slaughter a child right then and there. My character probably would have been motivated highly to slaughter that child. I just wasn't.
And as far as Mike's concerned, crafting reagents!
Yeah. My character probably should have stabbed her in the face.
Yes, considering that she's got social stats high enough at her age to turn you into wrapped around her finger, yes, you probably should have.
Whatever.
She's Bane?
Pretty
Because
much.
Everyone's wondering, I was mentioning Bane from the Deathgate cycle, written by Margaret Reese and Tracy Hickman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There is a little boy. Have you read those?
No.
Okay, well, Bane is a little boy who's, I think he's the son of a sorcerer, right?
Son of a powerful sorcerer,
Who
yes.
decided to, I don't want to raise my own kid, right? And so he kind of gave him off to somebody else.
Well, no, what he did is he traded kids with the king.
He traded kids with the king, but he put a little spell on Bane to make it so nobody could kill him.
See, I only know of
Because
one Bane.
they would be attached to him.
My Bane broke Batman's back.
Yeah.
This Bane was an annoying little twerp that you couldn't kill because you would just feel so sorry or sympathetic towards him.
Yes. They hired an
Just
assassin
admit
to
the
do
developers put a code on him so he couldn't be, his hit point total couldn't go down.
it. Yeah,
Bethesda was programming that character.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm thankful for Exalted because of the people I've been able to meet through it, the vibrant community, and I love the lore of the setting. I love how it is just a different kind of setting than what you traditionally get. I like how there's that mix of Greek and Asian mythologies together. And I love how it fits. It's like the best things that I liked out of Shard combined with all new, wonderful, beautiful things that I just love. And, I have loved every chance that I've been in to play in a well-run game. I've gotten to play as, the lowest form of the Exalted, the Dragon-Blooded, and I've gotten to play as the mightiest form of Exalted, the Solar, and I have gotten to play just about everything in between. So, I have had a lot of fun. Still haven't played a Sidereal. I'm not exactly rushing out for the experience, mainly because, the only flexibility Sidereals have, rather than their rather limited and annoying charm set, is to go learn martial arts. And honestly, a lot of the martial arts are either pretty poorly written or horribly broken because they were largely ignored outside of the core ones for every splat until this recent edition coming up.
Yay!
Yes, way to go, developers! You put together something and then, you kind of threw together this idea of alternate martial arts styles for first edition, but you didn't back it up too much. They appeared in the Advanced Player's Guide, and then second edition they gave a whole 2 books to it, but second edition had the problem of too many cooks in the kitchen. They had a development team that switched out writers like for every second or third book. So they're very disjointed development. And that's about the time that White Wolf kind of, fell into the ocean and then got bought up by a Swedish tech firm, and now Onyx Path is writing their books for them. So, that said, I have loved just the setting, and the lore is so rich and well developed. Honestly, I think that that covers it for Exalted. I will be, when 3rd edition comes out, supposedly, once again, word is that they're just about finished on the art scene. They're just waiting on the final edits to come in from the editing team, and then the book will be out to the backers, and a month later it'll be available for general purchase.
Cool.
So I'm thinking probably January it'll be available to everybody.
Yay.
Alrighty.
Don't quote me on that, I'm not a member of the Onyx Path staff, I'm just throwing out
You're
guesses.
throwing numbers out.
I'm throwing guesses out based on what they're putting out on their Monday meeting notes.
Okay.
And now for our closing thoughts. We're going to cover those things that are coming up soon that we have our eye on. Bryan.
Just a reminder, DMG comes out December 9th. I'll give you my initial thoughts when it comes out, to see what I think of some of the stuff in it. As well as a bunch of the variant rules that are most likely going to be in it. What I think of some of the magic items and that kind of stuff. So, DMG December 9th.
Alright. And as for me, the DreamPod 9 Heavy Gear Blitz Kickstarter has ended. And it ended at over the $150,000 mark.
What percentage of the requested value was that?
Hold on. Let me look that up.
Because they requested $1 million. That's not that impressive.
Your Kickstarter. Here we go. They requested $27,000. They ended at $150,406 with 1,015 backers.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of Kickstarters, the Privateer Tactics game, I think the full single player is out now. So for Warmachine Tactics, I think the full single player is out at this point.
Yep. Now, one other thing with our Kickstarter coming up that, or not our Kickstarter, but our podcast that'll be coming up.
So we have a Kickstarter?
Yes, we have a Kickstarter. Send the podcast to Gen Con. Yes, with cameras for each of us, camcorders for each of us. That way we can record demos. Yeah, I'm joking here, people. I'm joking here, people.
Yeah, you're thinking low. Send the podcast to every convention.
Woo!
Yeah. Send the podcast to every convention. Yeah.
First time at Comic-Con.
Yeah, send the podcast to Comic-Con.
No, starting next month,
Thank
we will...
you, 5 subscribers.
Starting next month, we'll have video in here, so we will actually start to have a little more professional-grade image. You'll actually get to see our table with its nice setting here.
We have a wizard.
Yep, we have our wizard on the table, our dragons, our microphone, the computer that I use for hosting, as well as our rating scale.
Please proofread that, because I seem to remember some of the words were wrong or something. Something was wrong on there.
Okay.
And then we have a Roni Kenshin thing up, and
then
a
some
picture that
custom
Nathan's
artwork.
ex-girlfriend drew.
They'll see all this next week.
Yeah, they'll see all of
And
this
I'm gonna add
next week.
a few more things. I have a few things in my room.
Actually, what we'd love to do...
And I think it would be awesome if for like the New Year's one, we do a live podcast, because we can.
Yes, live on New Year's...
Whenever
Eve
it's gonna
or
be.
day
Whenever
or
we're
whatever.
going to I'll let everybody know when it's gonna be.
Yep.
I'll post a video.
But yes, you will get to see you will get to see the rest of the group, because you've now seen my face due to the cooking video.
And I should have I should be doing a Let's Play of one of the Omega Protocol missions soon, too.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing that. But what we'd love to do is
And I'm gonna wear a mask.
Eventually get ourselves a nice green screen up here. So
no,
that...
we don't need a green screen. Stop with the green screening. If we have to, we can just flip over to a picture. You and your green screens. We don't need no...
I think it might have a nice little production quality.
Okay.
But with that...
We don't need no stinking badgers. Hey! I have a question for everybody.
Okay.
What is your favorite chromatic dragon?
Ooh, that is a good question. Yes, please, in the comments, please post down your favorite chromatic dragon.
I'm asking you guys too.
Well, my favorite chromatic dragon is the red. They have the awesome attitude of a true, powerful leader. They have the attitude of a born emperor. What more could you ask from a dragon than just the utter badassitude of a red?
I like the blue dragon. Mostly because I like the dragon that shoots lightning, and I always thought the blue dragon had an interesting face.
Alrighty. And my favorite is the green dragon, because I like also forests, and I like the fact that they are more of the keeper of the forest, and they're not quite... They're kind of different than some of the other chromatics, because they are so bound to their forest. They're not... They're still evil, but they're kind of evil in a different way.
Yeah. They're evil, but they actually do get along with elves. To a small degree, yeah.
To a small degree.
Okay.
They're mostly, like, hobgoblins are the creatures that are supposed to get along with the green dragon and attack wing. Which, I think December is when we're going to try redoing our attack wing.
Let's play. Yes, unfortunately...
we tried doing it. I accidentally deleted it. I am sorry. We're going to just start with the second mission and recap a little bit of what happened on the first.
Yep.
Okay. I am done.
And with that, we will see you all next week. And just remember...
Don't kill us!
We're the PCs.
I'll TPK if you want.